Hi students, today I am here with our emerging trends last part. So let us start without wasting the time. Introduction to emerging trends. In that, today we are going to learn about a very different and latest concept, that is the cloud computing. So what is mean by cloud computing? In short, you can understand by this diagram. See, their application, platform and infrastructure, these three main pillars are there of this cloud computing. In fact, these are three different services. So let us see what is in that shown. In application, see, that is monitoring, content is there, collaboration is there, communication and finance is there. Then platform, it is showing you that object storage, then your identity means login, user ID, password, everything. Then runtime things, then queues and database where we are going to store the data. Infrastructure, here it is the compute, how to compute it, that, and then block storage and the network. This is the main thing. So this is all computer, or we can say the cloud computing. So let us move ahead with this same topic. Cloud computing is an emerging trend in the field of information technology, where computer based services are delivered over the internet or the cloud. For the case of their accessibility from anywhere using any smart device, even your smartphone also. The services comprises software, hardware. In that, servers are included, the databases, storage, etc. These resources are provided by companies called cloud service providers, CSP, and usually change on pay per use basis, like the way we pay for electricity uses. So by this way you can have the idea about cloud computing. Let us move ahead again to see more details. We already use cloud services while storing our pictures and files as backup on internet or host a website on the internet. You all are aware with these things, just like your Google Drive, even Google Photos, Google Music. So by this way we are saving our pictures, photographs, our some memories, some movies, even some music, we can say songs, and even these websites are hosted with the help of this cloud computing only. So through cloud computing, a user can run a bigger application or process a large amount of data without having the required storage or processing power on their personal computer, as long as they are connected to the internet. It means if I want to run a big software and I don't have that much big capacity machine, in fact by smartphone also I can handle a very big application which requires more memory, more RAM, more storage and more processing power. So that is of course connected with internet. With the help of internet we can use this technology. So that is called as a cloud technology or cloud computing. Besides other numerous features, cloud computing offers cost effective on demand resources. As per your demand, resources will be made available, and it is very less cost is taken for that services. A user can avail need based resources from the cloud at a very reasonable cost. Nowadays this is a trend of cloud computing, and with the help of this our net surfing or even whatever softwares are run by so many companies, so many private organizations, that are run very smoothly because of the cloud computing. Let us move ahead to see cloud services. So there are three different services. In last slide also I have explained. Let us see here which are those three services. SaaS, software as a service. Then PaaS, platform as a service, and IaaS, infrastructure as a service. These three main pillars are very important of the cloud. So cloud computing is based on these three main pillars. Okay, so you can understand these services: laptops, phones, tablet, desktop, any device can be used for cloud computing. Let us move ahead to see more detail. One diagram I have collected from internet for your better idea. So just look at here, IaaS, the small section is there. It includes this Amazon EC2. Okay, this I will explain later on. These are some technical things are there. Then PaaS is there, in that Amazon Web Services are there, Windows Azure is there, and Google services are there. And in SaaS, in that you can see Windows Live, Hotmail, Facebook, Gmail, Google Docs. So such kind of emails, facilities, services are available there. Let us see now in details about it. Cloud services again there. In this small diagram I have tried to explain these things. You can check it over here. SaaS, software as a service. What is in that? Email, CRM, collaborative, and ERP. Means you can consume it, you can use it. SaaS. Then PaaS, platform as a service. App dev, decision support, web streaming. So built on it, you can build your software, you can build your app, or you can build your task on this. So this is called as platform as a service. And then infrastructure as a service, IaaS, caching, networking, security, system management. These are the main infrastructure based things are there. You can migrate from one software to another software, that way it can be used. Let us see here. The better way to understand the cloud is to interpret everything as a service. A service corresponds to any facility provided by the cloud. There are three standard models to categorize different computing services delivered through cloud as shown in the figure. I have just explained the figure here. These are infrastructure as a service, IaaS, platform as a service, PaaS, and software as a service, SaaS. So this is the diagram. By that you can get the clear idea about it. Let us move ahead to see one by one in details. Infrastructure as a service, IaaS. That is the basic thing. The IaaS providers can offer different kinds of computing infrastructure, such as servers, virtual machines, storage and backup facility, network components, operating systems, or any other hardware or software. Using IaaS from the cloud, a user can use the hardware infrastructure located at a remote location to configure, deploy, and execute any software application on that cloud infrastructure. There is no need to purchase such kind of huge setup, a huge machine, huge big powerful CPU processor, or a big storage unit. There is no need to purchase it, no need to waste our money on that, invest our money on that. So better way, you can just use with the help of this service by the cloud. This entire infrastructure you can use it. They can outsource. The meaning is very important over here. Outsource means to taken from others by the third party, or you can say by the other person we are taking as a rent for as a time being using. Okay, the hardware and software on demand basis as per the requirement, and pay as per the usage. How you are using, how much you are using, as per that we have to pay for them. Thereby they can save the cost of software, hardware, and other infrastructure, as well as the cost of setting up, maintenance, and security. So there is no need of maintain to set this much huge network infrastructure, or to maintain its security, to maintain the software, hardware, everything. So we are free from that if we use this IaaS security, IaaS services from cloud. This is very cost effective and very easy to handle operate. Let us move on the second service, platform as a service, PaaS. Through this service, a user can install and execute an application without worrying about the underlying infrastructure and their setup. That is, PaaS provides a platform for our environment to develop the software, test the software, and deliver the software applications. Suppose we have developed a web application, just like a school management system, using MySQL and Python. To run this application online, we can make available a pre-configured Apache server from cloud, having MySQL and Python pre-installed in it. Thus, we are not required to install MySQL and Python on the cloud, nor do we need to configure the web server Apache or Nginx. There is no need to set up, because this is a technical thing. Technical people are required for that, and there is no need to waste our time to set up all the such things. If it is ready-made available on the cloud, that service we can just take it. Our work is over, our task getting over. In PaaS, means platform as a service, the user has complete control over the deployed application and its configuration. In this, we are having our control on that. It doesn't mean that the other person is controlling. Our own control is there on that. And its configuration, it provides a deployment environment for developers at a much reduced cost, lessening the complexity of buying and managing the underlying hardware and software. Means we are free to purchase, or we are safe by purchasing these things. There is no need to purchase, there is no need to set our own setup. Just we need to use by this platform as a service, and then it will work for us. Next one is there. Then one more type is there, or one more part is there of software as a service. SaaS provides on-demand access to application software, usually requiring a licensing or subscription by the user. While using Google Doc, Microsoft Office 365, Dropbox, etc. to edit a document online, we use SaaS from cloud. We are unaware about it actually. Whenever we are opening, suppose any email has come in, that any document has come, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, or any other one, and we are just clicking on that without installing it. Without downloading, if we are opening that document, that is open in the Google Doc, so that we don't know. So if that Word, Excel, PowerPoint is not installed in your machine, then also with the help of Google Doc, you can read that matter, or you can see the file. A user is not concerned about installation or configuration of the software application as long as the required software is accessible. Which software we are using, there is no need of installation, no need of setup, configuration, till we are using that throughout the time, how much time we are using that software. So there is no need of worrying about the installation and configuration. Like PaaS, a user is provided access to the required configuration settings of the application software that they are using at present. In all of the above standard service models, a user can use on-demand infrastructure or platform or software and is usually charged as per the uses, thereby eliminating the need of huge investment upfront for a new or evolving organization. If any new organization is there, in starting only, there is no need of such an investment in your platform, in your that huge machines or high capacity machines, more memory storage. There is no need of investing on such things if we have such kind of facility available in a very less cost, or very efficient manner you can use it. In order to utilize and harness the benefits of cloud computing, Government of India has embarked upon an ambitious initiative, GI Cloud, which has been named as Meghraj. Like cloud, it is called as a Meg. So Meghraj, its website or link is also there, https:// then cloud.gov.in. That is made by Government of India. Okay, let's move again. One more new technology like cloud. It's a grid computing. Grid is a computer network geographically dispersed and heterogeneous computational resources as shown in the figure. Means at different geographical location we can connect those devices with each other like a grid. Grid means that jali type thing. So grid, on that grid you can, by that grid you can connect these all resources, all networking devices, all computer peripheral devices you can attach. Unlike cloud, okay, whose primary focus is to provide services, because cloud is providing us some services which we have seen, SaaS, PaaS and IaaS. So these are services made by, available by cloud. But in this grid, a grid is more application specific and creates a sense of a virtual supercomputer with an enormous processing power and storage. The constituent resources are called as nodes. Whichever resources, whichever the devices are attached here, those are called as a node. These different nodes temporarily come together to solve a single large task and to reach a common goal. These all nodes are come together temporary basis and they are helping to solve a big work, big task. So this is the benefit of grid computing. Let us see much more about that grid computing. Nowadays, countless computational nodes ranging from handheld mobile devices like smartphones to personal computers and workstations are connected to local area network, LAN or internet. Therefore, it is economically feasible to reuse and utilize their resources like memory as well as processing power. Means it is economically easy, economically feasible, suitable to reuse or utilize the resources like memory and processing. The grid provides an opportunity to solve computationally intense scientific and research problems without actually procuring a costly hardware. Means for suppose any complex activity, complex research, we need a great devices, apparatus, very huge setup or maybe very costly apparatus. So there is no such need if we are using grid computing. By that we can connect those things together and you can utilize it for our task completion. The grid can be of two types. Two type of grids are available: data grid and CPU grid. Means processor grids. Data grid means it is used to manage large and distributed data having the required multi-user access. And CPU or processor grid, where processing is moved from one PC to another as needed, or a large task is divided into subtasks and allotted to various nodes for parallel processing. Means what is in that? Data grid means it is managing large and distributed data. Too big data is there, so that can be managed by this data grid with multi users. Many people can access it and they can manage that data. CPU means what? In that data grid, what is there? Users are getting the data in distributed manner. That is managed to all users, same data. But here in CPU, what is in that? It is processing from moving one PC to another PC, because the task is very big Task is very large, so it divided into sub parts. Suppose one task is divided into 10 parts, 10 subtasks, and the 10 people are allotted that their part, and after completion again that will be combined. Actually it is combined, but virtually it is divided or distributed to these people. Okay, and then working as a parallel processing is going on, same way, continuously, simultaneously. Grid computing is different from IaaS cloud service. In case of IaaS, because in that IaaS, what is in that? Infrastructure as a service, and grid means also infrastructure, because we are connecting those devices together, so it is allowing us to make an infrastructure. But the grid computing is different from this IaaS, infrastructure as a service cloud service. In case of IaaS cloud service, there is a service provider who rents the required infrastructure in that cloud, who rents. It takes the rent from the user. Whereas in grid computing, multiple computing nodes join together to solve a common computational problem. To set up a grid by connecting numerous nodes in terms of data as well as CPU, both type of grids, a middleware is required to implement the distributed processor architecture, that is the Globus toolkit. That website is given, you can check it out. It is one such software toolkit used for building grids, making grids, and it is as open source, freely available. You can make changes also in that if you have the knowledge of coding or programming. It includes software for security, resource management, data management, communication, fault detection, etc. So many things are available here with the help of this software, Globus toolkit. New concept again, blockchains, that actually very popular nowadays. If you search on Google, if you Google it, you will understand blockchains. There are transactions, banking, ATMs are working. That is also the example of blockchains. Traditionally, we perform digital transactions by sorting data in a centralized database, and the transactions performed are updated one by one on the database. Okay, this is how the ticket booking website or bank operates. However, since all the data is stored on a central location, there are chances of data being hacked or lost. Okay, these are some possibilities. Actually, people are taking too much care of these things, so it never happens easily, but can't say, because centralized data is there, it can be hacked easily or it can be lost. So the diagram is shown that you can easily see that by the laptop someone has request a transaction, then the request is broadcast to all nodes in the network. So many nodes are there in a network, internet. It is broadcasting to all. But if verified by all nodes, the block gets added in the already existing chain of blocks. Now see, the broadcasting to all the nodes, it means, suppose the example is a bank. In bank, suppose I have gone to withdraw 10,000 rupees. As soon as I fill the form, I have given slip to that person, and suppose he has to enter there 10,000 rupees withdrawal. So his machine is attached to so many machines along with the server. So all that request will go to all machines, and whichever machines are there for giving permission, or we can say passing that transaction, approving the transaction, that machine will approve it. In that second third figure is there, see, if verified by all nodes, the block gets added in the already existing chain of blocks. These are like a stepwise, or we can say the queue, and the transaction is completed. So like this way. So all bank computers, all computers will share that things, but where it is belong, only that computer, that particular person will operate that things, or he can see, or he can pass that transaction, he can approve that transaction. Okay, let us move ahead. The blockchain technology works on the concept of decentralized and shared database where each computer has a copy of the database. Okay, blockchain, see, we were talking about the centralized data. What is mean by centralized data? In a server, at one place, server is there and so many clients are working. So many clients on that system, users are sitting, they are doing some activity, and then data is saved in the central server. Whatever activity is carried out, that is carried out with the help of server only, because software is also installed in server, security is also in the server, so that is called as the centralized data. But blockchain, what it goes to do, or what it's done, blockchains are allowing decentralized data. It means whichever machines are connected in a line or in a particular network, that all machines will get the same data on their place. So a block can be thought as a block can be thought as a secured chunk of data, and of course it is secured chunk of data or valid transaction. Each block has some data called its header, which is visible to every other node, while only the owner has access to the private data of the block. Such blocks form a chain that is called as a blockchain, which was we have seen in the figure. Okay, we can define blockchain as a system that allows a group of connected computers to maintain a single updated and secure ledger. Each computer or node that participates in the blockchain receives a full copy of the database. It maintains an append only open ledger, which is updated only after all the nodes within the network authenticate the transaction. It means, what is it means? See, append only means what? Append means to add over it. Over means, sorry, add above it, or add to ahead of it. Addition, we can say. And when it will work? When all nodes are making it authenticate, are checking it and giving the message or giving its authentication, then only the transaction will be complete. That's why it's very safe and secure. The safety and security of the transactions are ensured because all the members in the network keep a copy of the blockchain, so it is not possible for a single member of the network to make changes or alter the data, because each and every person is having same copy. So if suppose A, B, C, D are there, B has changed something in the data, so it will not be changed without the permission of other members. Got it? That's why this is called as a blockchain and very secure. The most popular application of blockchain's technology is a digital currency. You may be knowing about Bitcoin or something that is not allowed in our India. It's a ban. Okay, like that digital currency. However, due to its decentralized nature with openness and security, blockchains are being seen as one of the ways to ensure transparency, accountability, and efficiency in business as well as in governance systems. For example, in healthcare, better data sharing between healthcare providers would result in a higher probability of accurate diagnosis, more effective treatments, and the overall increased ability of healthcare organizations to deliver cost-effective care. Another potential application can be for land registration record. You know, this Sadbara record is there. You may be knowing about it. So the potential application, it's a land registration record. Suppose if you take the example, to avoid various disputes arising out of land ownership claims and encroachment, this is very, very important. See, if that all users, all members, suppose example we can consider the officers, which are related with that land registration field or department. So if a single person is making some change in that, but until and unless other members are approving it, are allowing it, the changes never happen. So it's very secure. Blockchains. A blockchain based voting system can solve the problem of vote alterations and other issues. That is also very important in this voting system. Blockchain will play a very important role if it is working on that. Since everything gets stored in a ledger, voting can become more transparent and authentic. At one place everything will go there, and in the ledger at different places the same data will be there, so it will be more transparent. The blockchain technology can be used in diverse sectors such as banking, media, telecom, travel and hospitality and other areas also. So this blockchain is very, very important. So I want to just summarize the chapter here within a short period. We'll just summarize it. From first we have started with artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence endeavors you to simulate the natural intelligence of human beings into machines, thus making them intelligent. Machine learning comprises of algorithms that use data to learn on their own and make predictions. Natural language processing, NLP, it facilitates communicating with intelligent systems using a natural language. Virtual reality, it allows a user to look at, explore and interact with the virtual surroundings just like one can do in the real world. The superimposition of computer generated perceptual information over the existing physical surrounding is called augmented reality. Robotics, we have seen the robotic topic. Sorry. Robotics can be defined as a science primarily associated with the design, fabrication, theory and application of robots. Big data, it holds rich information and knowledge which can be of high business value. 5 characteristics of big data are volume, velocity, variety, veracity and value. Data analytics, it is the process of examining data sets in order to draw conclusions about the information they contain. The Internet of Things, IoT, it is a network of devices that have an embedded hardware and software to communicate, connect and exchange the data with other devices on the same network. A sensor, it is a device that takes input from the physical environment and uses built-in computing resources to perform predefined functions upon detection of specific input and then processes data before passing it on. Cloud computing, it allows resources located at remote locations to be made available to anyone, anywhere. Cloud services can be infrastructure as a service, the platform as a service and software as a service. Blockchain technology, it uses a shared database of chained blocks where copies of database exist on multiple computers. So here is I am going to end this chapter. My dear students, you watch these all videos of emerging trends, introduction to emerging trends chapter. These are very, very useful, not only as a point of view of our study or exam. It is a very, very important. We should have the latest knowledge of the world, and as we are techno savvy people, so we should be aware with the new trends which are emerging in market, which are coming in market, the all updations we should know. So watch these videos very carefully. If you have any doubt, you can ask me on my WhatsApp number which is given in the group. So don't hesitate to ask questions. And now today evening or tomorrow morning I will upload some PPTs of the same videos, and I will ask some questions by test. So you people have to note down in your notebooks those all information, and even that exercises and some activities also I will provide you, that you have to complete in your notebook. So when you will be in school, that time we can work on it. So till that time, my dear students, take care of yourself, stay home, stay safe and stay happy, and subscribe my channel Dattatreya More. So this channel is there, you subscribe this channel and hit the bell icon, then you can see whichever video I will upload on my channel. You can see it very easily, you will get the notification on it. So try to subscribe it and try to tell other people also to subscribe my channel, so my subscriber will be increased. Okay, my dear students, till that time, take care, bye bye.